down with Susan. I don't know about you, but I love going to the movies. Like really, it's one of the best ways to spend the day. Yeah, you heard me right, the whole day. Oh sure, I realize some people have gone to great lengths to put in home theaters and expensive sound systems, but really, unless you've recently been on the cover of People magazine and the paparazzi is just too much for you, getting out of the house and making your way to the movie theater is the way to go. Let me just review the top 5 reasons why going out is better than staying in. Number 5, if you are lucky enough to have a movie theater in your town, you get to socialize a little as you get your ticket and browse the candy counter. 4, if it's spring, summer, or fall, those of us in Greensburg don't even have to bother getting our car out of the garage. Our stroll costs nothing, and it burns a few calories in the process. Reason 3, they're delightfully cool. It's the temperature I dream of on a hot Kansas day, so let them do the air conditioning for you. Secondly, while I'm certainly not a proponent of leaving messes for someone else to clean, you have to admit that it seems beyond human capability to eat popcorn without dropping some of it. So why not eat it at the theater? No fuss, no muss. And finally, and this is my very, very favorite reason why I prefer watching movies in the theater to watching them at home. No interruptions. Oh my gosh, interruptions. Don't they drive you crazy when you're trying to watch a movie at home? Yeah. When you're at the theater though, the cell phones are put away. You don't have to feel guilty if you aren't folding the clothes while you watch, or jumping up to empty the dishwasher, or put in a load of laundry. You don't have to answer the door, chat with whoever might wander through your house, or run water, or get ice out of the freezer and rattle the cubes around. Well, the list goes on and on. Your only job is just to sit still, be quiet, lean back, embrace the climate-controlled room, and just watch the movie. I love it. There's yet to be an entertainment invention quite like it. Well, after 7 long years and the hard work of many, Greensburg is getting its theater back, and it's beautiful. Today, Adam Wagner, newly hired executive director of the Twilight Theater and Community Auditorium, is going to join us so that we can learn a little more about him and how Greensburg was fortunate enough to snag him. Later, we will even take a peek inside the nearly completed theater. Come back after the break. Joining us today is Adam Wagner, the Executive Director of the Twilight Theater and Community Auditorium. Adam, you have so many credentials, I had to jot them down because I was afraid I might forget some of them. You graduated from the College Conservatory of Music at the University of Cincinnati, first of all.
Yes.
Which it doesn't look like that could have been that long ago. Let me start there. You've been in New York City and worked as an actor, a composer. You produced your own music. From there, you went to Tampa.
After that, I went to Montana.
Oh, that's right. You went to Montana, and you managed theaters there, and then to Tampa, right?
Yes.
Where you were the artistic director and helped develop music theater curriculum for the Tampa Bay Straz Center, or how do they say it?
Yeah. Well, actually, well, I was that's a little mixed up there, but I was the artistic director for Grand Street Theater in Helena, Montana.
Uh-huh.
And then I went to the Patel Conservatory, which is a year-round full conservatory training program, and that is at the Straz Center for the Performing Arts in Tampa, Florida.
Oh, wow. And then didn't you serve in the capacity as a vice president at the...
Yes, then there was a nonprofit organization called Theater Tampa Bay, and they were an alliance to help raise the profile of professional theater in the Tampa Bay area, and they elected me right away, and I got to work on that project too.
Wow. You have had a lot of experience. So tell us how Greensburg was lucky enough to snag you.
Well, actually, you know, I kind of consider myself the lucky one.
Oh, well, great.
This was a project that, you know, kind of has free reign. And I've been looking for something that is, that allows for creativity,
right,
but also that is meaningful. And not to say that what I was doing in the past wasn't meaningful, but those, like the company in Florida was run like a big corporation.
Right.
I mean, it was a $30 million a year annual budget.
Wow.
And, you know, 5 different theaters. And so your impact isn't as great. I kind of relate it to my time in New York City, too, where you throw a stone in a pond and there's no ripples.
Right.
And I'd like to make some waves.
You want to make some ripples.
Yeah, I want to make some waves.
Ripples. Okay,
yeah.
Good. So what are your plans? Like, how do you envision the future of the Twilight Theater and the Community Auditorium, which is a kind of a unique idea in and of itself, isn't it, that the local movie theater is also the school's auditorium for their performances, as well as because of its design, we're able to bring in acts other than just movies.
Yeah, well, and that's also part of what attracted me to this project, because there were so many moving parts, and you know, Greensburg has had a movie theater before,
right,
and I've been talking with a lot of residents and even people outside of the county that want to come into the county about live performances. I think there's a real hunger for that as well. And, you know, I think what you're doing on this show is showcasing talents that people may not be able to see or know about.
Yeah, they might not even have been aware of them.
Exactly, and that's what I think that the Twilight can do, is suddenly showcase local talents that you may have never heard before, but also bring in outsiders so that, you know, we don't become stale.
Exactly.
If we only see our own stuff, it's like, you know, my mom thinks everything I do is you know, fantastic, which I'm sure it is, Mother. But every now and then you need some outside viewpoints to kind of, you know,
absolutely,
dirty things up a little bit and push you and challenge you. And and it just raises, you know, it lifts the tide and all boats start to
Absolutely.
rise.
So you're looking at bringing talent in, you're looking at showcasing community, area-wide talent. There will be movies. I know the school plans to use this facility as well for their concerts and theater productions. So it should be busy quite a bit of the time. You must be, are you a little overwhelmed? Trying to get all this up and running?
Where am I?
I think that's
Who
a yes.
are you?
I think that's a yes.
It is a lot.
That is a lot.
I've never been one to run away from large, ambitious projects.
Good thing.
And I'm going to need help. But right now, the time is to just kind of assess what has been done, what hasn't been done, what needs to be done, and what's the best, most efficient way to move forward so that we're doing it right. You know, I think the board of directors is committed to doing this project right, and we're not going to rush because sometimes rushing leads to major fixes
down the road. You wish that you had taken a little more time.
Yeah.
With
and I know that people are probably impatient.
Yeah,
And
we
been,
are.
You're like, 7 years, come on.
Yeah, we are. We are
Yeah.
impatient. We're
Yeah.
excited.
But that's great.
Yes.
And so I just beg a little more of that patience so that we can make the right decisions and really set this up for success. Because you know, it's not a surefire
No, a lot of communities are losing their theaters, and especially with the switch to digital.
Yes.
And so I'm assuming it's true, right, that ours will be digital.
That's correct.
Already?
Yes.
Okay.
And so we're already ahead of the game there.
Good.
Which makes
That makes a
that
big
process
difference.
a little bit easier.
Because we've watched several area theaters close,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, we'll be one of the few rural theaters, you know, within 50 miles.
Yeah, which, you know, is unfortunate for those,
It is.
you know, in those
It
other
is.
communities.
That's too bad.
But I look at it as an opportunity to invite those communities here.
Definitely.
And see what we've got going on. And to not only showcase movies, films, and concerts and live performances the way they were meant to be seen, you know, with state-of-the-art equipment and doing these things right. And I think a lot of people in rural areas, and this was my experience in Montana too, is that some people have never seen a production or a film in a
large venue that is designed for that purpose.
Yes. They've been, you know, usually retrofitted from old buildings, or you know, there's a lot of theaters are in, you know, church basements and all that kind of stuff. And now this will be a facility not only for people to view as an audience member, but think of the students that get to work.
Yes, I bet they're very excited about that.
Yeah, in a state-of-the-art facility that not many other students have that opportunity. So.
It's very exciting. And I understand you're going to let us inside the theater, is that right?
Yeah, I heard that I was getting a check for $200,000 and you were going to make that out.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
You can hear anything in a town, can't you?
Yeah.
Well, golly, I know for sure we're going to get a peek. If there happens to be a $200,000 check lying on the floor, pick it up and run with it.
Okay, good.
By all means. We wouldn't stop you.
All right.
We'll postpone the tour until you get that deposited. But if that were to happen, pretty sure it's not going to happen, but you never know, I guess. We should have faith.
Yeah.
So you're going to take us into the theater, let us see the inside a little bit.
I could give you a little.
Are there some?
A little peek.
Do we have like total access?
We'll see.
The whole 9 yards, even maybe some parts that aren't quite done yet.
Maybe.
Oh, that'll be great. Okay, awesome. Well, come back after the break, and we'll be taking a real live view into the brand spanking new Twilight Theater and Community Auditorium here at Greensburg.
Welcome to the Twilight Theater, the crown jewel of entertainment in Southwest Kansas. Unlike anything of its kind, the Twilight Theater and Community Auditorium will be able to host live musical entertainment such as bands, solo artists, and even classical orchestras. Theatrical plays and musicals will have a great venue full of professional lighting and its own concert sound system, like no other theater in rural America. Authors, poets, magicians, motivational speakers, and relationship experts will look at this theater and see a huge opportunity to seek new audiences in a great location. Why would professional acts like these come to Southwest Kansas? Being built in the 21st century allows the Twilight Theater and Community Auditorium to have capabilities unlike any other venue within hundreds of miles, making it a great destination. A partnership with the Kiowa County Media Center facilitates the transformation of a local performance into an internet program streamed to audiences around the world. It is rare for a venue to offer acts the option of live programming, which gives rise to reaching beyond a live audience and drives growth for a larger fan base. This feature is an added enticement along with the high-quality facility of the Twilight Theater. You'll hear the crowd roar as we cheer on favorite teams in a Super Bowl, Final Four championship, or even our own Maverick sporting events. The sounds, crowd, and smell of hot dogs and popcorn will give the feel of a live atmosphere. You can also rent the facility for your own event or private party. With the ability to show more than just movies, the Twilight Theater becomes home to a multitude of community gatherings, such as hosting 400-seat conferences and conventions in a comfortable setting with the theater stage and dressing rooms being utilized for guest speakers and celebrities. In conjunction with the magnificent stage space for performance, the 27 by 55-foot movie screen will be the largest projection screen between Wichita and Denver. Not only will the latest movie releases be back in our community, but they will be better than ever with seat-rumbling THX surround sound audio and a crystal clear high-definition picture to pull audiences into every scene. What makes the theater important to our community? Families will have the ability to walk together to a movie, teenagers a safe place to gather with friends, and young couples can date at the local theater without leaving town. This will keep money in the county that is presently being spent elsewhere while providing entertainment locally. The new facility will draw people from all over Southwest Kansas, generating additional revenue for years to come. School performance. When Kiowa County Schools rebuilt, they chose not to build an auditorium with the idea they would be using the Twilight Theater stage for performances. This venue will allow high school forensic groups to produce phenomenal school plays while giving students the opportunity to perform in a professionally equipped theatrical facility. Pre-K through high school talent, vocal and band performances will be hosted by the Twilight for mom and dad to enjoy in extreme comfort. The Twilight Theater is one of the last remaining elements to improve our quality of life on the road to becoming a complete, rebuilt Greensburg.
Hi, now we're inside the Twilight Theater, and our executive director, Adam Wagner, is going to give us a little tour around, maybe into some secret places that people haven't seen yet. And I want you to also tell us, like, evidently there's a little more that goes into having a theater than just building the building, putting up a screen, and pressing go. So we want to talk a little bit about that, because there's got to be other things that you just can't.
There's an incredible amount of things
that go beyond building permits?
Yes, I mean, because the Twilight Theater is a 501c3 not-for-profit corporation, which means that all donations are tax deductible according to your state and federal laws.
Yeah, and you can buy a seat just like this too. That's what we're doing, just like this, right in the theater. You can have your own with your name on it?
Yeah, so
With your
for
name on it.
a $250 donation, we'll have plaques with a name dedicated to the seats. Now these aren't the actual seats.
Oh.
These are representative seats.
Are the actual seats going to be red? Can you tell us that?
There is a reddish tone,
Okay.
and but there is a vinyl as opposed to the fabric. So
Oh, good for
they're
maintenance.
easier to clean.
Yeah, so I don't have to sit in somebody's sticky pop dried up on the seat cushion.
Right.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. I'm good with that. Well, let's take a look around.
All right, let's go. So here is
Very fancy.
our ticket booth.
Very nice.
And this was constructed with the help of the industrial tech class at the school.
Okay. Nice
and
job.
And our
then.
neon sign and this
Where's what goes here?
Twilight, and we recovered part of the neon sign.
Oh, from the original.
From the original, and they repaired it, but it is still being repaired.
Okay.
So you'll come here, get your tickets.
We can have cocktails?
Right now, it's a little early, Susan.
It is a little early, but say when the theater opens, is that what this is supposed to mean? These little...
Well, our hope is that we'll have the capability to provide an alcoholic beverage for special events. And
Not your typical theater, not your typical movie.
Well, maybe for R-rated movies, if we occasionally show
older audiences.
For an older audience, but don't worry, Disney, we're not going to be serving alcohol at Aladdin 7. So
We'll be all right. All right.
So then we come in.
Look. Oh,
And
the lobby
this
is
is our lobby.
gorgeous. This is beautiful. I love it. I love it. Now,
and we have our concession stand with...
I'd say that's a little bigger than the concession stand we are used to.
Oh, is it?
Quite a bit bigger. Quite a bit bigger. Very fancy.
So there'll be 2 stations, and we've got a Creators popcorn...
Machine?
It does everything,
Really?
apparently. There's, you turn that on, and 3 seconds later, you're buried in popcorn.
Awesome. Awesome.
So,
we always want that when we come to the movies. We need to have popcorn.
yeah.
And then, I love this mural. Do you know who designed it or anything about it? With Twilight across there?
Well, as you know, the Warren Theaters, which have quite a few theaters in Kansas and
Oklahoma, too, I think.
Oklahoma, they're starting to open there. A lot of this was modeled after what they've done. So the mural above the concession stand and this one here were done by that same company.
Okay.
And over here we actually have a donation from Tom Corns of Greensburg State Bank.
Oh, very nice.
And this
is a little
blast from the past.
trip down memory lane.
Yeah, this was a Saturday night on Main Street in 1952.
Oh my gosh.
Where all the cars were lined up outside the Twilight. And that's our hope, that we'll have another photo like this on a Saturday night where all the cars are lined up.
And right across from the theater was where the soda fountain is. And it's just a very short walk from this theater to our new soda fountain. And I can still remember, now I was not alive in 1952, I'm not quite that old, but not long after that. After the theater, we'd just go across the street to the soda fountain, and they would open in the evenings. And so you could serve, and you could get a soft drink or an ice cream over there, and then head home. So, that might even be something that we could revisit too.
Yeah, well, our intention here is, this lobby is pretty big.
It is.
So,
it's huge.
But we're planning for growth. And that maybe if we have a special event, we can do some catering events in here beforehand.
Nice.
Since the access to, a plethora of restaurants is not here yet.
But they're coming. I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling it. They're going to come.
They will.
They will.
It'll happen because it'll
One
take
thing
us over
just
the
leads
edge.
to another.
Yes, it'll snowball, and but we can identify those needs and then provide those so that the theater is not just come to a movie, leave.
Right.
You know, we want you to come here, stay here, know that it's your theater, and
make yourself at home.
And make yourself at home. Yeah.
Hey, you said the word access earlier. I was kind of noticing these doors, and
Yeah.
right now it kind of says like caution, do not enter. But speaking of access, is it possible, that just today, just for a little second, we might kind of take a peek inside there?
Well,
If we just sort of slowly pulled this, accidentally untied it. These are some pretty impressive doors.
I feel a little uncomfortable.
These are pretty impressive. Like, that's a beautiful door you've got going on right there.
That is.
That is.
I wonder,
Is it as beautiful on the other side as it is on this side?
I don't know.
Because it is gorgeous on this side.
Why don't you?
Well, it is. It looks just as, it might even look better on this side, possibly. I think it does, for sure. I think it does look better on this side than even on that side. Is there anything beyond?
Oh yeah, just go ahead in.
Bye, everybody. I'm going to go watch a movie. Enjoy.
And she will never return.
It is stinking dark in here. Okay. I know, it's a little spooky. We got inside. We've got total access, people. And when we got in, there's this lamp sitting on the stage that I'm pretty sure Ed Schoenberger donated to the theater. But why? Like, what is it?
Okay, so going back many, many, many years,
Okay.
It's a tradition in the theater to have a ghost light. And
Is that for ghosts or for the prevention of ghosts?
it's for ghosts.
Oh, okay. Who
Yeah.
knew they needed light?
Yes, well,
Okay.
they need, so at the end of any performance,
Uh-huh.
the last person to leave
Right.
turns on the ghost light, puts it center stage, and then leaves. It allows them, one, so they can see
Right,
to leave the door.
Right.
But it also allows the ghosts to then
Meander?
do their performances that they want to do on the stage, and it keeps them happy so that they don't curse the theater.
Aha. Aha.
Almost every theater has a story of a ghost. The one in Montana was actually the pastor's wife, because that theater was built in a Unitarian church in 1901, and the pastor's wife was said to haunt that theater. But she was a nice ghost.
Okay.
Yeah. So we wanted to make sure that one of the first things in here
Was a ghost light.
was a ghost light in case there were any ghosts haunting the Twilight Theater. And here it is.
Okay. Nice job, Ed Schoenberger. And fortunately, because of this ghost light, we kind of got to get inside and take a little better look. So thanks, Ed. And thank you to whoever might be listening in the outer reaches.
Yes.
We'll leave this on for you on our way out. Perfect. Thanks for the explanation. I was wondering just what the purpose was. So
My
we'll leave
pleasure.
it to you, ghosts, until
All
we
right.
come back. Bye. Adam, thank you so much for the tour of the theater today and taking time out of your, I know it's a really, really busy schedule right now as you're trying to get the theater open for the community. We so appreciate your giving us a little background about you and about your hopes for the theater and kind of where you see it going. We appreciate it a lot. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much.
You'll be back, I assume, when the theater opens for sure, won't you?
Absolutely. I will always sit down with Susan.
Perfect. We'll see you. Join us again. Bye-bye.
The internet has drastically changed the way we communicate. Are you keeping up with the times? The Kiowa County Media Center can connect you with viewers in markets all over the region, the state, and the world. Our technology keeps us on pace with the high demand of internet video content. Bring your audience from anywhere in the world to your wedding, conference, sporting event, concert, and much more. No one does high-quality video streaming like us. We are the Kiowa County Media Center, leading the new age of communication.
I certainly hope you will enjoy the musical talents of Nate Fisher.
Built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteousness. I dare not trust the sweetest frame, but wholly trust in Jesus' name. On Christ the solid rock I stand, all of the ground is sinking sand. All of the ground is sinking sand. All of the ground is sinking sand. When darkness seems to hide his face, I rest on his unchanging grace. In every high and stormy gale, my anchor holds within the veil. On Christ the solid rock I stand, all of the ground is sinking sand. All of the ground is sinking sand. All of the ground is sinking sand. Shall come with trumpet sound. Oh, may I then in him be found. Trust in his righteousness alone, faultless to stand before the throne. On Christ the solid rock I stand, all of the ground is sinking sand. All of the ground is sinking sand. All of the ground is sinking sand. On Christ the solid